fashion as well with a playoff. And I mean, I think this guy is just one of those guys who's just too good not to win, right? I mean, that's what I would think.
100%. And it was interesting because I went through and looked at his world rank had changed during his drought that he had. He only fell to 33rd in the official world golf ranking. That's the lowest he ever fell. So it wasn't that low. I thought it would have been closer to 60th or 70th, especially when he failed to make the FedEx Cup playoffs and then ended up playing in the Ryder Cup back in 2023. So Justin Thomas now climbing to 6th in the official world golf ranking. We're going to talk a lot about Justin Thomas the week that was, but first let's hear now from Justin Thomas shortly after he got the victory.
This is a golf course and a place that I love. I mean, I'm fortunate to play the Junior Heritage, a junior tournament here, so it's just I feel like it's a golf course that fits my game, or it's a place that I just really enjoy to play, because I think it's a place that rewards good golf, but it can really penalize you, and you can make bogeys so fast if you get out of position. And I was really proud of today of just staying patient and kind of plotting our way along. And yeah, I mean, I feel like winning on a golf course like this is a pretty cool thing to add to your resume. And not that I wouldn't have taken one wherever I could get it, and still will, but yeah, it's a great feeling.
Take us through the putt, first hole or first playoff hole, and then also to win with Jillian and Molly there, yeah, which I know is super special.
For sure. We unfortunately had the disappointing walk together as a family in Tampa. After had a couple shot lead there with a couple holes to go, and didn't have a good finish, and Victor went in there. So it was I feel like I used a lot of that as kind of momentum or just to build on and motivation, if you will. But so it was great to have them there behind the green and be able to enjoy that win and celebrate with them. And I mean, the joy and excitement it brought to me to be able to see them after the putt went in, and even walking up to the green was something I definitely didn't think I would feel in past. But the putt in the playoff was a putt I feel like I'd seen in past. It's kind of a funky little pin of if you try to play too much break, it seems like it kind of stays out. But it just, more than anything, like I did all weekend, I felt like I had my read of a little bit outside the left of it being straight and falling right, and I just committed to that and really just tried to put a good stroke with good speed on it, and yeah, it looked good the whole way.
More relief or more joy?
I think joy. I think I mean, there's definitely some relief in there, but it was, when the ball went in, it was pure joy. It was excitement and happy, but it was like after I kind of had that interaction with Joe, it was like just looking around, and it was just it was joy. I just was so happy I couldn't stop smiling.
Lots of interesting comments there from Justin Thomas, and we'll get into his caddy, who his caddy was for the second straight week, Joe Greiner, because that's another interesting topic in itself. But it was an interesting question there from Doug Ferguson of AP, whether it was joy or relief, because we spoke for what felt like hours last week, Bob, talking about Rory McIlroy and his win at the Masters, where you could just see the relief when that short putt went in, the putter went up in the air, and he collapsed, and he was crying, he was emotional. But interesting for Justin Thomas. Yes, I know he didn't win the Masters, but to feel the joy he did and the way he got the victory, and how that playoff, how the birdie putt went in on the playoff, because he dropped his putter before that putt was in the hole. Talk about confident and swagger, right?
Yeah, I think when you've been a winner all your career, or most of your career, both amateur, professional, everything, you sort of expect that to continue forever. You expect that not that you're going to win every week by any means, but you always kind of think that, oh yeah, okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to be successful at this. I'm going to be, winning 1, 2, 3 times a year, winning majors. And when you get into that drought, I think that there is a real reason that this could be as much relief as joy. And a good question by Doug Ferguson, and an interesting answer. But I think that when you start to doubt yourself, when you start to get into a slump, as so many golfers have, it's tough to trust your instincts. It's tough to sort of not say, okay, what am I doing wrong, when all you really need to do is just have a good week and have the putts lip in instead of lip out, and the balls bounce off the tree back into the fairway as opposed to back into the woods. And little things like that can make a big difference. So I think it's kind of interesting to hear him say that, and to sort of try and understand what's going on in your mind at that moment.
And from a historical perspective, give credit to stats guru Justin Ray, who put this out Sunday afternoon. Actually, this is before Justin Thomas won. So after the victory, Justin Thomas becoming the 7th player to win 16 or more times on the PGA Tour. This was JT's 16th victory, including multiple majors before the age of 32. How about these names that JT joins? Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Johnny Miller, Tom Watson, Tiger Woods, and Rory McIlroy. So, Bob, just big picture here. I know he's not that old, but you could almost say this is a Hall of Fame career already, couldn't you?
It's certainly close to it. I mean, as you said, multiple majors, that's always a good stat, and 16 wins is pretty impressive. And even though we sort of, I think, recency bias has us talking about the slump, and he hasn't won for almost 3 years, as we pointed out, I think that you can go beyond that and look at the entirety of everything he's done. He's also just a good guy. He's good in the media center. He's very open. He's very poignant. He's very sort of matter of fact in certain things, and I think he's a fun guy to follow and to watch. And we'll see what happens after this. I think this is the next. He's almost sort of entering the prime of his career right now, when you think about his age. So there could be a lot more to come from Justin Thomas.
And one of the reasons he's played significantly better this season has been the putter, where last season he was 174th in strokes gained putting, and this season he's now 24th. So he's climbed 150 spots in that category alone. And Justin Thomas had some very interesting comments talking about why his putting has improved, and he actually sought the advice of one Xander Schauffele. Let's hear this clip from Justin Thomas.
Obviously, it's a lot of work and time spent on it, but I mean, as funny as it is, a huge help. I called Xander at the end of last year because I think he's one of the best putters in fundamentals, and not just putting, but everything. And I just was like, can I just pick your brain for like 2 or 3 hours, just talk to you about putting? And so he came out with me, and then he just was asking me a bunch of different questions. And I mean, you guys obviously know Xander, but he doesn't leave any box unchecked. He's going to, like he said that day, he's like, if it has anything to do with you potentially improving in golf, I've probably done it or tried it. And so I just was talking to him about his process and how he reads screens and how he sees things and his practice and everything. And it honestly was just being with him, and he would kind of ask something, and I was like, well, yeah, like I used to do that. And then it was like, well, how about something like this? Like, yeah, I used to use the string line here. Okay. And then the more I was talking, I'm like, I don't do any of the things that I used to do my best putting years. Like 2017, 18, I was very, very regimented of the things that I did, and how he said it is I had a home base and I had no home base. I had things that I did, but it was a very vague bag of things, and there was no consistency to it. And I feel like I used to have a very good home base of fundamentals and things that I did. So it honestly, while he helped, it was more of the questions he asked made me realize that I'm trying basically too hard, and I'm trying too many different things, versus I think it's a serious skill to continue to work on the things that you do really well and not doing them differently. And I think that's been more of what it is. It's just I have my fundamentals and things that I do and checkpoints, and I'm sticking to them.
That's interesting, right, Bob? I mean, for Thomas to ask Xander Schauffele, who won a couple of majors last year, maybe this is just me, but I wouldn't really have seen this happening in Tiger's heyday, where let's say two players who, let's say Phil Mickelson and David Duval have a conversation for 3 hours about putting back in 2002. I don't think I would have seen that happening, but given how close these guys are in age, Schauffele and Thomas, they've They obviously know each other really well. Are you surprised to see Schauffele give JT the advice he did? Because now he's playing a lot better.
No, not at all. This is pretty common. It happens a lot on the PGA Tour. And actually, to your point, Tiger Woods used to reach out to Steve Stricker and ask him to look at his putting. So I think there's sort of an unwritten code that, guys will help other guys. And it's not like you're, I don't know, it's not like a team thing, I don't think. If it was a team thing, then I would understand it. But I think these guys all understand that they're in this together and they all want to be, they're all friends. You're spending how many weeks a year on the road probably seeing these guys all the time and talking to them. So I think people can get help. But I thought the one interesting thing I thought from that clip was how it seemed kind of how dialed in Xander was with all these different things that he was doing. And, very, very professional about it, very committed to each thing. And it seemed almost like Thomas was saying, I was kind of loose. I'd try these things and blah. It didn't seem like he was really dialed in, committed to the process that in the way that Xander was. So, I don't know. I guess he probably did a lot of it just on raw talent without actually having to go to things like, the string line and watching someone on your backswing and all these different things that they have out there. And that's why they have some of these, these like Ralph Bauer, a short game and a putting specialist who can help players like that. But you have to be committed to it, obviously, if you're going to make a change.
Huge improvements for Justin Thomas, 24th in strokes gained putting this season, was 174th last season, and his last victory before yesterday was the 2022 PGA Championship. But since then, Bobby's played 11 major championships, just one top 10 in majors since winning back in 2022. Even just saying that, for Justin Thomas, is there anything you can circle as to what has held him back? Is it trying too hard, putting too much pressure on himself, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. It's that's shocking. I didn't really even look at that and realize it. You just sort of automatically think that he's going to be in the hunt. It means he really hasn't contended in a major for a long, extended period of time. Yeah, I don't know. I guess now we're going to see what happens in the next 3 majors anyway, see where he goes and see how he performs. But he's always sort of been a contender if he's not been, maybe not in the situation where he's going to challenge to win, but you always sort of counted him be a top 10, top 20, something like that. And boy, that's a shocking stat to me.
Really is. And his best finish during that span at major championships, a T8 at the PGA Championship, that coming last year. Now, before we close the door on the JT conversation, something interesting, his caddy, who filled in for Justin Thomas at the Masters and stayed with him for the RBC Heritage, won Joe Greiner. And Joe Greiner caddied for Max Homa for a number of years before they split. And Max Homa has gone through some struggles on the golf course. He played quite well at the Masters, actually, which was refreshing to see from one of the game's more marketable players. But this is kind of interesting, Bob, isn't it? Because JT had Bones on the bag for quite some time. Now Bones is back in the broadcast booth. And Joe Greiner, I know Thomas and Homa have done a lot of traveling together, these teams, that sort of thing. What do you think? Does Joe Greiner have a permanent spot now after helping JT win for the first time in nearly 3 years?
Gosh, you'd have to think. Unless these guys have other plans, I would think that would be a pretty good match if the guy's going to walk away with a win. That whole world is so bizarre, caddies and players, and I think, there's a lot more long-term relationships now than there was, say, 15, 20 years ago, where it used to be certain players would flip their caddies, I won't say on a regular basis, but after a year, maybe they'd trade it and they'd look for a different person to make the fit. But it would certainly seem that this is a fit. If you're going through and you're winning, I would think that it might be that situation that he's going to get hired on. We'll see what happens.
Justin Thomas now 6th in the official world golf ranking, and we'll have lots on JT as we head into the PGA Championship. Hard to believe that's only a couple weeks away now, too, where he's looking for his 3rd Wanamaker trophy. So Justin Thomas, a winner again on the PGA Tour. Much more on the RBC Heritage coming up in about 10 minutes' time. But coming up next here on Golf Talk Canada, it's Major Week on the LPGA Tour, the Chevron Championship, where Brooke Henderson is continuing her season, which has been strange, to say the least. We break down Brooke's game coming up next, right here, Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC was presented by TaylorMade. For more distance, stability, and feel, switch to TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X. Visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca to learn more.
You searched for your informant, who disappeared without a trace. You knew there were witnesses, but lips were sealed. You swept the city, driving closer to the truth, while curled up on the couch with your cat. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover heart-pounding thrillers on Audible.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even just a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, there's no worry. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. And now through April 30th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So call Third Federal today.
HBO's biggest series is back, and it's only on Crave.
If you just keep going, you find something new to fight for.
The Last of Us, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey.
There's no halfway with this.
Don't miss the Emmy-winning HBO original critics call breathtaking and masterfully tense.
What did you do?
I saved her.
The Last of Us. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
When you get into a new Tacoma, you might suddenly find yourself climbing over roots, rocks, and rolling hills on your way to a forest retreat that should definitely make up for years of lackluster staycations. All that's left to do is drive it home. Get in and go right now at Toyota, where you can lease a 2025 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $131 weekly for 24 months at 6.79% with $4,900 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Ontario Toyota dealer today.
Touchdown!
Great catch.
Give me a high five!
5 minutes later.
Interception!
Awesome play.
Give me a high five!
2 hours later.
Eddie, did you order 20 high five specials from 2-for-1 Pizza?
You kept asking for high fives.
I meant... never mind. I'm hungry.
High five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $5 each.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your first aid cabinets are stocked, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas apparel program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.ca.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I'm the puck that just won't bounce your way.
I'm the gust of wind that makes the field goal miss.
I'm the final shot that bounces out. Yeah, that's me. I'm random. And before you bet more than you can afford to lose, remember, I'm always in play. Learn more at gamblingisrandom.ca.
The bugs are back in town. Ovo by Cirque du Soleil. The classic everybody loves. With new characters, new staging, and new mind-bending acrobatics. You don't want to miss this one. Ovo, playing May 1st to June 28th at Lakeshore Boulevard West. Ovo thanks its presenting partners Sun Life and official partners Air Canada and MasterCard. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
Daily reminder, Walmart always has low prices on all your fresh fruits and vegetables. Yes, low prices to help you save money and live better. Like fresh raspberries or blueberries for only $2.44 each. Shop everyday low prices at Walmart.
This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by TaylorMade. This segment of GTC is brought to you by Movember, the official men's health partner of Golf Talk Canada. You can get involved and help change the face of men's health by visiting Movember.com today.
Welcome back inside Golf Talk Canada. Adam Scully alongside Bob Weeks. Mark will be back for TV tomorrow night and TV radio here on Wednesday, too. We'll get back into the conversation about the RBC Heritage coming up in our next segment, but we're going to spend this segment and a good portion of our TV and radio shows talking about the first major of the LPGA Tour season. It is the Chevron Championship taking place this week, and Bob, for us, as always, all eyes on Brooke Henderson, who has not played up to her standards thus far this season. Been a bit of a strange stop and start, stop and go kind of season for Brooke. But I'll just read this off the hop. 7 starts, 3 missed cuts. Kind of hard to believe, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, it is, and I think really, you have to say she's in a slump, and we've sort of, you sort of dilly-dally around that a little bit, and maybe you don't sort of want to accept it, but there's just no other way to look at it. I mean, she's not putting great again. She's not every week, but in certain weeks, and I mean, last week 21 to 28 fairways, pretty good. 30 to 36 greens. Not bad, but 64 putts, and that's in 2 rounds because she missed the cut. And you sort of sit back and you go, okay, what's holding her back? What's the situation? What is she doing? Why is she not? She has been putting for 4. Well, I don't know. It's a very strange situation to look at. But on the other side, I sort of sit in my head. She's been playing this game for over 10 years now as a professional, and you wonder if there's a sense of a burnout of, because it's not just those last 10 years, right? It's basically since she's been about 8 or 10 years old. She's been doing nothing but essentially golfing. And I always kind of wonder if there's a point where you just sort of sit there and go, okay, are there other things to do in life besides just play golf? Some people just grind it out, do it all the time. Some people can handle both sides. But I have no basis for other than just my mind saying that. But definitely there's a bit of a lull here in her usual high standard of play, and we'll have to see if she can break out of that.
And in terms of her schedule, she played once in March. Took a month off, played once in March, has played twice since then. Her best finish of the season is technically a T9, so technically a top 10. Did lose in the round of 16 at the match play a couple weeks back, the week before the Masters in Vegas at Shadow Creek. But looking at some of her numbers, Bob, these are interesting to me. She is worse, comparing this season to last, in the following categories: strokes gained total, strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, and strokes gained around the green. She is worse this season than last. Interestingly, you mentioned the putting. Her putting has actually improved this season. She was 67th last season. This season, she's 55th. And when you compare and contrast the two categories this year to last, the most staggering one in my mind is this season, she's 100th in strokes gain approach, where last season, 42nd in strokes gain approach. That's pretty wild, given that's been her bread and butter, is her approach game, hasn't it, Bob?
Yeah, and, is she, spending so much time trying to fix her putting that her other game lapse? That's not uncommon in golf, where players spend so much time on one part of the game and try to shore that up and forget about the other part of the game. And that could be something that's hammering Brooke right now. I think the one thing that I will say is that, she hasn't played a lot of golf yet. And as you said, it has been stop and start. So maybe she's taking these weeks. I know the LPGA schedule at the start of the year is always very awkward, and maybe there's something in that as well. Maybe she doesn't want to travel to all these different places and all over. But I think as we get into the meat of the season, which starts probably this week with the Chevron, the first major, it'll be interesting to see what any of those stats do. Do they change? Do they get better? Do they improve? What is it that's holding her back? Is it consistently like what we're seeing right now? Because there's a lot of people who, I mean, Brooke is easily one of the most popular golfers, if not the most popular Canadian golfer out there. And you can't go to a tournament anywhere in the world without somebody, waving the Canadian flag and talking to her and things like that. So she carries a big load as well in terms of the potential. And there's 3 other women playing this week. 3 other Canadians, Savannah Gruel, Elena Sharp, and Motomi LeBlanc, are all in the field at the Chevron. But most of the eyes are on Brooke, and that's again something that I think she loves it, but it does take some time away from whatever else you're doing.
And our expectations are sky high for Brooke. I'm sure Brooke's expectations for herself are sky high. I'm sure her whole team, her family, everyone involved on her end have massive expectations for her too. It's not like she's not trying. Of course she's trying. She's the all-time winningest Canadian professional, and you wonder when she goes and she watches Nick Taylor win the Sony Open, when she sees Corey Connors reel off the consistent run he's currently been on, when she sees Mac Hughes finish T3, we'll hear from Mac in our next segment, by the way. You wonder if that gives her motivation, Bob, to get back and play and get that drive. Maybe it's burnout. It's very possible. Being a professional golfer is hard. It's a lot of travel. It's not the easiest life. So you wonder if that gives her motivation, seeing her fellow Canadians play well, for her to play well too.
She's also, let's not forget, she's also traveling as a single person. Her sister's married, so they used to travel a lot together, and I'm sure they travel together, but they don't stay together. And so I'm sure she has some friends. I know Jin Young Ko is a good friend of hers, but there could be some loneliness out there too. I've interviewed a number of LPGA golfers, and some of them who've given up the game because they are so lonely out there. So there's all sorts of aspects that could come in. Hopefully this is just a slow start to the season, and we'll see her improve as she starts to get into the meat of the year on the LPGA Tour calendar.
Brooke Henderson, 3 career top 10s at the Chevron Championship, including a T3 last year. So we'll have much more on Brooke Henderson, both TV tomorrow night and radio and television, that coming up on Wednesday. When we come back here on Golf Talk Canada, I mentioned Mackenzie Hughes, a T3 finish at the RBC Heritage. His best finish of the season. We'll talk about Mac, and we'll hear from Mac next, right here, Golf Talk Canada.
This segment of GTC, presented by TaylorMade, was brought to you by Movember, the official men's health partner of Golf Talk Canada. You can get involved and help change the face of men's health by visiting Movember.com today.
These women are good people.
Amanda Seyfried stars
It's our job to protect them.
in the riveting mystery thriller
You gotta let it go.
I'll let it go when I find her.
Long Bright River. All new. Saturday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on USA Network. Stream on Crave.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with a multi-dog transporter, mud navigator, a Rainmaster slope pilot, remote campsite finder, a moose country guide, a gravel handler, a very slushy surface controller, windy road stabilizer, spinning wheel avoider, a four-legged mammal attractor, surprise snow detector, plus a... Oh, and we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
TSN 1050 is giving away Leafs tickets to every home playoff game. We want the most passionate fans to be in the building. Here's how you can win. Listen to First Up and Overdrive on the iHeartRadio app for at least 15 minutes straight. You can enter twice a day. The more times you listen, the better your shot at winning. Before each home game, First Up will be calling one devoted fan with a pair of tickets.
I believe in miracles. Let's go, boys.
Feel it. Live it. Love it.
The world's best are on TSN. Well, the foundation of the PWHL has been poured from regular season showdowns to the fight for the championship. Are you kidding me? The PWHL lives on TSN.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
This is Golf Talk Canada, presented by TaylorMade. This segment of GTC is brought to you by WeatherTech Canada, Canada's leader in automotive accessories. Visit weathertech.ca.
Golf Talk Canada rolls on here. Adam Scully alongside Bob Weeks. And before we get into talking about the notables at the RBC Heritage, Bob, in Toronto, some nicer temperatures coming up here. The start of golf season for some potentially has happened outdoors. Have you hit golf balls outside yet, Bob?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have some weather by Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be nice. I'm going to be out there. I've got a tee time. I can't remember if it's Friday or Saturday. I got a tee time. I got to see if I can sneak away for that. But yeah, listen, we've had a slow start to this season. There are courses open now. I know that. I can see that coming around. Some of them are now. It's a little. I'm not like James Duthie, who goes out and plays. Even in single digits, he'll go out and play, but it just seems a little strange. I usually take it a little bit warmer, and I don't have to push it too much. But yeah, what about you? Are you gonna get out this week, or do you think?
So I did play Dentonia on Friday, so I was outdoors. I wore shorts. I kind of felt like Rydell, actually, because the shorts, well, it was a bold move. It was a little chilly, but I did laugh as I was on one of the tees waiting, and I thought I might be the only person who's done the Augusta Dentonia back-to-back double.
Yeah, I think so. I'd be pretty sure that's just about it. The first one. By the way, an update for you from the marathon. A Canadian through 20 miles of 26 miles, a Canadian is in third place. So how about that, Rory Linklater?
There you
how about
go,
that?
Rory Linklater. Okay,
pretty impressive.
No relation to Frank.
Not quite as. It's not quite as impressive as the Augusta. You're back to back there, Dentonia. I'm just laughing at those two back to back. Oh man, golf's a wonderful sport.
It really is. And I was actually I was at Islington Golf Club yesterday for Easter dinner with some family, and their outdoor range was open at Islington, where they have a net set up. It's about 30 yards long with some technology in there to see where your balls fly. So I know my course, Bayview, opens Tuesday. So we're 8 days away from opening, and things are happening.
Oh, 8 days away, like a week tomorrow.
Like a week, yes, 8 days from right now, not tomorrow.
Yeah, we're opening this weekend, so we're good.
Okay, well, looking forward to hearing and debriefing your first round, assuming you're able to get out and go play. But RBC Heritage, we got to talk about some of these notables who came up just short to Justin Thomas, starting with Andrew Novak. Had a putt to win in regulation, couldn't quite get it done, loses the playoff to Justin Thomas. Let's hear now from Andrew Novak.
Not so much as far as emotions. Like, I'm not as frustrated as I thought I would be, I guess. I don't know, I feel like I did a lot of good things. I'm pretty proud of putting myself in that position when I felt like I wasn't swinging it that great this week. The fact that I was able to scrap out like almost a win with not really swinging my best. The irons kind of were giving me issues at times. I hit a few good ones down the stretch, which was cool because, with the pressure on, usually it gets tougher, and I was still able to pull off some shots. So I was happy to see that. I thought I was a little bit more comfortable down the stretch than maybe I have been in the past. So, Justin just went out and won it. Like, there's nothing you can really do about it. I need to go out there and get a win at some point. But, yeah, all of these finishes are great. I have big goals for the year. Obviously, like, this is going to look good for Captain Keegan, and I've got a lot more to do as far as that. But I'm putting my name up there, and next step is just to win.
Interesting. Andrew Novak said something really interesting that got my producer's hat on there for a second, something we haven't done yet this year. I think coming up on Wednesday's show, we'll do it as well on Monday. I think we should pick our Ryder Cup teams right now. What it would be, what Captain Keegan, what Captain Luke Donald will do. We'll start with the U.S. on Wednesday. We'll do Europe next week because no one really saw Andrew Novak having 3 top tens and playing his way into the conversation. Captain Keegan Bradley, Bob, is going to have a lot of different options, including himself, to play for his squad come late September, won't he?
Yeah, there's probably going to be some new names on this team, I think. Some players that have not played in Ryder Cup or even President's Cup before, so I think you'll see a few of those. It's sort of Andrew Novak's year, if you look at it, is almost bizarre. Miscut, third. 13th, miscut. Tie for 13th, miscut. And then, miscut, tie for third, and playoff loss in his last 3 starts. So it's like feast or famine with what he's got. But in those good finishes, he starts to build up enough of a point space where, he's going to be a consideration. And if you are Keegan Bradley, you're going to have to, even if he doesn't make it into the top 6, you're going to have a look and say, okay, well, this guy's legit. Maybe he's the guy we want. Look at parts of his game. They do all so much now with analytics, and when they come to their choices, that we'll see how that shakes out. But there's a few guys like Andrew Novak who I would say the casual sports fan probably doesn't know a lot about. But if you look at some of the stats and the figures and the results, it's hard not to at least give him a chance.
Andrew Novak, a great week. Runner-up finish to Justin Thomas. Now someone who was